Morning, Ashley. Of course,
I think some of our viewers and people that were listening were a little confused last week. So just before we start, obviously, welcome to Peeling Back the Truth with Ashley and Katie. We did not do our show last week because our producer recorder was on vacation. So we're gonna do
nerve.
Yeah, I know, leaving us. So we are going to actually do 2 in a row. So one this week and one next week. So we will put those on live when we have done them, and we're going to do one today and then one next Thursday. So I can't wait. I feel like it's been forever.
I know it does feel like it's been a really long time. It's summer. I had a week off also. I did go to the beach, but I kind of just caught up in life a lot at home with the kids. My kids are going back to, sports and all the fun stuff because school's coming up. So
you're not telling everybody about your 35th birthday party?
Oh, that's right. I turned 35. I wish. Actually, I'm 51. So I'm not I just say my age. It is what it is, right?
Well, you look awesome, and that's why you can say your age. So there you go.
Thank you. And, life is just continuing.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for the kids to go back to school in a couple weeks, which is going to be great because they won't be staring at my glass door to the office asking if they can have things that they're not supposed to have while we are doing our podcast. So it'll be much quieter around here.
I always say that I'm my children's employee.
And maid.
Pretty
and
much.
Cook.
And financial, stability, everything, you name it. So
that's what we do as moms.
Here we are today, and we are going to talk a little bit about the industry and how the young 20-somethings, maybe early, even, it's funny. I always say this, when I was young and I was 18, I was like really close to becoming an adult at 18. I was doing a lot on my own, working since 15, really. But today I feel like that 18 has been pushed back a bit.
I think so too.
And like 24 is the new 18.
I think so too. I have a 15-year-old and I feel like she's really well equipped to life. But I think that when I was 15, it was a lot different. I was ready.
Yeah, I feel like we were kind of pushed in, like we just did more for ourselves, but now I think it's a little bit slower of a process, and that's okay. I think 18 is really young to be thrown into the world, actually. I think, but
so I know we talked a couple weeks ago and we really wanted to talk to like more of that Gen Z era. Anybody, I think, is Gen Z anywhere from like 6 years old to 24 or something like that. So
something like that.
We wanted to talk to somebody more about of the Gen Z era, about how they view aesthetics and how they react with all the hype on social media with skincare and skin health and goals. And I feel like now versus when we were younger, it is much more of a topic, whereas before it wasn't a topic at all.
No, I agree 100%. And I feel like when I got into this industry, I worked in a doctor's office who was an aesthetic medical office. And very rarely did we see a patient under the age of 40.
Yeah.
Very rarely, maybe for some Botox, someone in their later 30s, but it was mostly a more advanced age, client. So today that is not the case. You're in a medical spa, I'm in a medical spa, and it's anywhere from 20 to 65. There's such a difference in the clientele.
In our med spa, I feel like, we see a lot of teens obviously that are struggling with acne. And then they transition once they get through their acne and they're like, oh, there's so many things that you guys offer that we didn't realize, and this, that, and the other. And I think I would say even 20, like.
Oh, absolutely.
15 to 20 is, yep. And then 20,
very common amongst a 20-something preventatively.
I always say when parents bring their kids in, because a lot of times I would say a lot of the moms bring their daughters in that are, 20, 22, 21. And they're like, she keeps talking to me about Botox and I just don't know if she's ready for it and this, that, and the other. And I always say, I'm honest. I tell them I've been doing Botox since I was 22. And the reason why is the physician I did my internship in with, she said, Ashley, I know the Botox is really helping for your migraines when I inject you in the scalp, because I used to have terrible migraines. She's like, but we really need to do something about that forehead, because you're Italian and you have a lot of expression and you're gonna age. She's like, you probably have a forehead of a 40-year-old. And I was like,
well, I think
what?
that, foreheads and your 11, those wrinkles that form are very, very hereditary.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So a child in, their teens or earlier than that could have, lines on the forehead when they raise their eyebrows that are really obvious. So over time in their, in that time in life, they have so much collagen in their skin, it doesn't leave marks or wrinkles. But as they age, it will. So yes. So as they start to lose collagen, those wrinkles will begin to form. And if they are to get some preventative Botox, then this is going to stop that. And in the past, it was more like everyone went to the problem when it was there, when the wrinkles were there. But that's almost too late. It will relax them and it will also soften them. But at that point, they formed, where if you start earlier, you stop them from forming.
Prevention is extremely important, because if you prevent when you're younger, you have tons less work to do when you're older.
It's so true. And the sun is another huge thing. A lot of young people don't feel like they need to protect themselves because, oh, I'm young. But this is cumulative. This sun damage is starting very early on.
I just read an article by a physician in New York the other day, and he was talking about how creams really aren't working superficially because they're not absorbing in the skin properly unless you're doing aesthetic skincare with it for that exfoliation. And I think that people oftentimes forget that just because you're using a pharmaceutical grade skincare or cosmeceutical grade skincare line that has a cream or a moisturizer and you're putting it on your face, your cells are not absorbing that correctly if you're not properly exfoliating. And I thought that that was a good reminder, because people could come into a med spa or purchase even, through their doctor's office, great skincare, but they have to keep getting the exfoliation process, which, it could be through a treatment, or it could be an at-home like exfoliation lotion, something, dermaplaning, anything. So I think that that's important to remember, because as much as you're investing the money in the creams or moisturizers, you need to be making sure that you're properly exfoliating, or it's not going to penetrate.
And that is something that I preach a lot to clients. At any age, this is an issue with skincare. I always kind of compare it to, if you were going to put say you're trying to, your leather couch was starting to dry out. Well, if you put moisturizer onto a leather couch, what's going to happen? The leather is going to soak it up, correct? Never going to get down into the cushion. Right. It's always going to. So if your skin, oh, there's my little doggy. Let me just open the door for him real quick. Go. But if your skin is not exfoliated properly, then that moisture that you're putting on top of the skin is never going to absorb into the cells and underneath into the dermis, where you really need that to go to activate and to do anything that's going to help your skin. So getting all of that dead skin off it's so important, and it's important for all ages. It's really, and I think that these younger people are very into exfoliation, and
which is great.
Which is great. I think that it's a good thing for them to learn early on for long-term success with their skin.
Absolutely. And that is also, something that you just made me think of about exfoliation and, making sure that people are educated and our youth educated. A lot of times with acneic patients, young gentlemen, women, when they have a lot of acne and they're not properly exfoliating, the acne gets worse because you're not properly exfoliating. And that doesn't mean that you're going to do a traditional microderm and spread that bacteria all over their face, because oftentimes, 1980s and 90s, microderms were a thing, which I personally, and I don't know if you agree, Katie, but I don't think microderm is the answer when you have cystic acne or pustule acne on the face.
It's definitely not. And there are other ways to exfoliate topically without using something that would spread that bacteria.
Right.
So I am glad you brought acne up. So young people obviously suffer with acne, and acne a lot of the time is worse, if not because of, improper skincare. I can't tell you how many times I've had an acne patient tell me they don't really wash their face. Okay, well, that's, obviously not positive for your acne. Also, a lot of times people wash their face improperly.
Yes.
So you can wash your face, and then a good way to figure this out is wash your face and then take a makeup wipe or an alcohol little swab and go over your skin. If you are still having residue on that, you're not washing properly.
Correct.
And I think that a lot of times this is the case, especially with younger people. They just don't really, it's not a priority. They don't like their acne, but it's not a priority to really keep that skin clean.
They're not as concerned about it, which they should be, because I know I've talked to you about this. In my younger teen years is when I really got into jumping and diving into the medical skincare. And it was because my acne was so bad and I was being very pushed to do Accutane and I didn't want to do it. And okay, don't judge me, Katie. I know everybody out there could say it. I thought I was properly exfoliating my skin because I was using St. Ives apricot scrub.
Oh, the best. That's one of my pet peeves. It's like taking a rock from outside and a hammer to the rock and just like hitting the rock and breaking it in a million pieces and then putting some moisturizer with it and then just washing your face with that.
So when I did my internship after I got my license with the derm that I worked under for a couple of years, when I told her that, she was very nice about it, but she's like, I have to show you something. And I was still suffering with some inflammation and some of my acne. She put me in front of a mag light and then got another magnifying light on my face and showed me. And I literally had marks in my skin from it being scratched open. And she's like, that's from your apricot scrub. So lesson learned to all of the youth out there and people that aren't youth that are like me and did the apricot scrub. Don't ever do that again.
Yes. And let's not get this twisted. So there is exfoliators with crystals and scrubs that are fine.
Absolutely.
But that's not one of them.
You want to also make sure, I think a lot of times too, when you're looking at exfoliation, you want to make notice that a lot of brands always say like 100% spherical. And when they say spherical, they're meaning obviously like a sphere, and they don't have any ablating edges, but they're still exfoliating. There's tons of enzymes out there that are fruit-based that really can help exfoliate as well over the counter. But yes, I'm glad you brought that point up because there are exfoliators that do that job. It's just, I would say if somebody has the St. Ives apricot scrub, maybe use it on your body if you really want to use that, $9 product up, that's fine.
Just not on the face, please.
Yeah.
So let's just clarify that a little bit. Acne and the importance. I mean, we could do a whole show on acne, but
absolutely.
Now that we brought it up, the importance of cleansing the skin properly. See somebody who can help you and get you on a path of properly cleaning your skin, because it is going to change your acne. It's going to make it better. Another myth with acne is drying acne out is not the answer. Okay.
You strip your barrier.
Yes, you strip your barrier, and then the sebum production becomes greater instead of less. So don't, believe that drying it out is going to be the answer. Oh, well, when I'm tan, my acne gets better. This is not real. Okay. Your skin has to have the proper level of moisture. When it does, your acne will get better because your sebum production will be right. So talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about, with this type of care, and get a regimen that is going to help you with your acne. And we can definitely do a show and talk all about that. But
I think it'd be amazing. I think it'd be super fun. And I want to add to that. It is a myth that if you go to the tanning bed, it will help your acne.
Yeah.
Because I did that when I was younger, and yes, shame on me. It does not help you with your acne. It actually dries out your sebaceous oils that then look great while you're going, but then are going to implode when you stop. And everybody should know, and I am so sorry if I'm insulting any tanning salon owners or anybody in that realm, but don't go to the tanner. It's
I mean, let's be, real. We all know. I don't think there's many people who don't know that tanning is bad. So therefore, tanning beds are not good for your skin, obviously. And, when you're young, you can get away with it, but it will catch up, it will catch up. So just always know that tanning is not good.
No. I think that, when we have our special guest today, which I'm super excited to talk to in a couple moments, when we talk to her, Katie, I really think that we should kind of dive deep in the whole realm of social media and how that's a powerhouse of skincare recommendations and a powerhouse of keeping the aesthetic world alive, and how they really target rejuvenation and all of those things. So I think I want to talk to her a lot about that. I feel like I have so many questions for her.
Yes. And, young people are so in tune with social media. I'm not. I mean, I will scroll on a news feed. I do have Instagram and Facebook. Yes. But as far as let's call it etiquette of social media, I'm very clueless. I don't even really know, like, liking pictures, loving pictures, all that. Like, I just am not savvy with it because it just wasn't apparent when I was young. But young people are just, they, like, my youngest daughter, she is just like doing all these different.
She is a TikTok genius.
She's a TikTok genius. She does, what is the thing she's been doing lately? I'm going to probably make a fool of myself. No, it's like she goes to the store, we buy things, and then she gets in the car and she shows everything she bought.
My daughter does this.
What is it called? A reel? A reel?
A reel.
That's not. Is that what it is?
I don't think.
Are you sure? I don't think that's right.
We're really showing our age here.
It's not right.
My 15-year-old daughter, when I have to ask her to, like, help me, I don't know what it is. They're geniuses when it comes to picture taking. She, like, knows the angles and everything. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
It's unbelievable. It really is. But that being said, that we're not very savvy with it. It is a necessary tool in this industry now. It just is. If you don't have an Instagram or a Facebook page and you're a business, you are really missing out, because
missing the boat.
You're missing the boat. It is, first of all, free advertisement, right there. And it is everywhere. Like, especially for your younger clients, that's where they're getting their information. That's positive and negative at the same time, because there's a lot of misinformation also.
There is. And that's what I want to talk to Amanda about today, our guest, because I want to see how she takes it. Like, I think that people that are in this industry that are a Gen Z version, I want to know if they, like, dive deep into it and see, is that really true or is that not true? And so I'm excited.
And I think there's a difference. I think there's some people who see something and believe it. I think there's other people who see things and are skeptical.
Yeah.
So, but I'm here to tell you, and Ashley's here to tell you, that anytime you are going to have a procedure done of any kind, do not get your information from Instagram only. That's maybe where you're introduced to it or you see it, but then you have to do your homework. You have to look into it. You have to find, is it even legitimate? There's things that aren't even legitimate, that are like not real. They're not even offered in a medical spa. People are purchasing things on Amazon and in the Five Below. I was in Five Below actually the other day getting school supplies, and I just happened to stroll by this aisle and I needed tweezers and all of these skincare tools, like electric brushes, like a Clarisonic style.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's not, great. Oh, micro needle rollers.
In Five Below?
I swear. I was like, this is kind of crazy. All kinds of things that really nobody should be doing to themselves. And I can tell you right now, if a microneedle roller is being sold at Five Below for $5, please don't take it to your face, young people. Please, because
I can't wait to ask all these questions.
it is definitely not sufficient. Okay. So, this is just examples of things that are in our face, in stores, on social media, that just because they're a thing doesn't mean that you can do it on your own, or you can do it with a product that is $5. Because
it kind of reminds me of that saying that, I don't know if your parents used to say this, like your friends are, if they jump off the bridge, are you going to do it with them?
Yeah. Like I can tell you right now,
address the situation.
The microneedle device that you and I use in a med spa is $5,000. So let's see, $5, $5,000. I wonder if there's any differences between these two devices.
I would say, yeah.
Most likely. So please don't do that.
Oh man, I can't believe you found it at Five Below. That kind of.
I wish I bought it. I really do, because I would be holding it right now and be like, I swear this is from Five Below.
I recently was online and I work alongside of one of the most amazing microblading artists. She's fantastic. And I was just like zooming through online the other day, and they are trying to sell at home microblading kits to microblade your own eyebrows. I just want to make sure, that everybody out there understands this. Microblading your eyebrows, which I would love to have, who I work alongside in our practice on. She's fantastic. I'd have her on someday. But microblading is a scalpel, like a blade that you literally put little marks in your skin to adhere pigment in your skin, like a tattoo, with little feather strokes. They're selling this online.
That's great. That's really.
So I cannot even imagine all the artistry work that, maybe
not
my daughter's
to mention
gonna see at school when she goes back in high school. I don't know.
Not to mention infection. And let's see, there's so many things we
properly disposing of the blade. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. So it's like, just don't do it.
Don't save a buck with skincare when you could go get a complimentary consultation, or a consultation that might be a payment towards a treatment, and get the proper education. Because I think that that's a little scary that you can buy anything offline these days.
And I'm not saying that there isn't affordable things, because there is, but a microneedle roller at Five Below is not one of them. And no offense to Five Below, because I love Five Below.
That's some great stuff.
It's a great store, but it is not the place to purchase your microneedle roller for sure.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Shall we bring out our guest?
Sure. I think that sounds great. And we can get, some feedback on what's going on out there for someone in their younger years.
Alrighty. So our guest today, her name is Amanda. She is 22 years old, and she is actually an esthetician. And we are ready to get her feedback on how the industry is in her perspective, and what all of our Gen Z people are experiencing and seeing in the media. So welcome, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, everybody.
Nice to see you today.
Oh, she looks like a baby.
Oh, to be 22 again. So we understand that you are an esthetician, correct?
Yes.
So awesome. And what made you kind of dive into the aesthetics world and skin?
So I've actually always loved makeup. That was like my main focus my whole life. And I feel like throughout high school, I started to realize as I was doing, I actually skipped both my proms to do makeup. I was like obsessed. And I started to realize that like the main foundation of having a good face of makeup is skincare. You need good skincare to have nice makeup. You can't just put makeup on and expect to not see your pores and texture on your skin without taking care of your skin beforehand. It's really like the forefront of having nice makeup, and I just got super into it and I haven't stopped since. And I feel like it's so important to really learn like as much information as possible about it at a young age, just like you guys were saying, because as you kind of get older, you're going to regret not starting at a younger age. I just feel like it's super important. And then I just went to school for it and got my license. And I don't know, I'm just trying to start out and see how it goes. But I love skincare. Super excited to be on here today with you guys.
Well,
So
thank you
Amanda,
so much for being on here. Sorry.
What do you think? It's okay. What do you think about social media and its impact on younger people, and how it helps, how it, what's the word I'm looking for? It, causes them to make decisions about skincare.
So I feel like there's positive and negative. Positive is that there is tons of people on the like social media side of like estheticians, skincare, that really do know what they're talking about and have a lot of information and can educate younger kids on how to take care of their skin. The negative, there's apps like TikTok and things where things go viral and they sometimes aren't the best. And people kind of just believe it because it's getting a lot of views, and it ends up not being like, yeah. For example, like there will just be certain like trends, like trying to think of what a good one that.
How about the pen that injects filler into your lips?
Oh yeah, see, things like that, you see it, you believe it because it has a lot of likes and views.
Right.
And it's hard to not fall into it when you're seeing all these people get so excited over it. But in reality, it's just like you have to really do your research to know. And even with people that seem like they really know what they're talking about on the internet, you never know until you do your own research.
Agreed.
Do you oftentimes have friends, Amanda, just pick your brain? Like, Amanda, is this real? Is this real?
I actually have friends that pretty much beg me to create their whole skincare routine. Like they just ask me all questions and are just so curious, which I love it because I love to talk about it. Obviously, it's like my favorite to talk about, so I don't really mind. But I do notice that a lot of girls my age, especially, I feel like growing up, it wasn't like this. I heard you talking about the St. Ives apricot scrub. Like I remember like being in high school and using like pink grapefruit by Neutrogena and thinking it was like like groundbreaking, like it was gonna make my skin perfect, flawless, amazing. And I feel like it's so different now because I really do see like even my little sister, like she cares so much about her skin, and it's just so crazy to see like how much things have changed. Like people do know a lot.
Now, you said that you were really into makeup and that's what made you get into this. Are you still into makeup? Like, do you do anything with that now?
Yeah. So I do work for Bare Minerals, which is clean beauty.
Nice.
It's something I'm very fond of. I love mineral-based makeup. I think especially if you're struggling with acne or more sensitive skin, which I actually do have very, very sensitive skin. I think it's the way to go. The ingredients that they use in it is great. I think that's another really important thing. People will have this amazing skincare routine and then kind of jump over to makeup and not realize that the ingredients in that are just harming your skin so much. You really do have to pay attention to that as well. But I love makeup. I've been working for Bare Minerals for 3 years now. I kind of just travel around to the different Sephoras and Ultas in my area, sell the makeup, help people find a good routine for them. And yeah.
That's so awesome. And how long have you been an esthetician now, Amanda?
So I've been an esthetician for about a year now. I've been in the makeup industry for almost 5 years now.
That is so awesome. So you realized that you wanted to do these things at a young age, which is awesome because I feel like youth, and I call you youth, I know you're probably like, I'm 22, but yes, you're 22, but it's youth. I feel like teens and young 20s still don't have that, a lot don't have that direction. So I think it's really amazing that you knew what you wanted to do at a young age and you powered through it, and you have your esthetician's license and you have an amazing head on your shoulders. It seems like you're really responsible. And
I think that, can I,
yeah, no, go ahead.
I just thought of something. So I think that, is amazing that she has that drive already to do something and have a career, which a lot of times at that age is not really the case. But I think it's also a really good example. And I'm not sitting here saying negative things about education or college, but because I think college is amazing
Yeah.
and it's a great role to go after high school. But there are other things that you can do to have a career and to get started in life without choosing college. I feel like it's such a push for children and or high school, and sometimes it's not their path.
And I mean, that leads back into the social media thing. Now, like, things are so different that you can use social media to really build a platform and create this whole career for yourself that you couldn't. I mean, years ago, it wasn't like that. So it's super exciting to see people my age. I mean, not that college isn't a great thing, like you were saying, but there's so many other ways to kind of build yourself and just make a career for yourself.
I think that with both of you saying that makes me wrap my brain, my oldest is 15 and I always say, I want you to be happy in what you do, but I think that trade schools don't get enough credit. I think that this generation is gearing more into not a 4-year university, which I think is amazing. I went to college and it was great. I didn't finish like with a bachelor's because I knew what I wanted to do within this industry. But I think that that's important for everybody to know, that you could do your degree in that, you could do your trade, you could follow your dream. I oftentimes, and maybe both of you will agree with me on this, I feel like oftentimes when I meet estheticians and makeup artists and medical estheticians, we have more of a creative brain, I would say. And with that being said, and I'm very into like the left and the right. I'm left-handed, so I feel like I've always been a really creative brain. And I think that just that everyday college setting was not for me. And I think that the trade school was for me. And I was able to have my degree by the time I was done with high school at 18. I dual enrolled, and it was fantastic because I worked underneath I did an internship underneath the derm for a couple of years to learn the medical side of things. And with that being said, I was like kind of ahead of the game because when my friends were graduating college, I already had my career. And it sounds like, Amanda, you're right now probably have some friends that are in college and you've already been doing this for a couple of years or 3 years with makeup artistry work.
High school,
yeah. So and that's
not to say either that you can go to school at some point if you wanted to. Yeah, anybody. Today's school's online.
It just didn't feel right when I already kind of had this idea of what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And so that's great. I love talking about that because I feel like a lot of, young people feel so pressured to go to college, and that if they don't, they're labeled, they didn't go to college or whatever, but I don't really think that's the case. So, if you want to pursue something else, pursue it. And college is always an option. There are grown people who go to college. So it's not like if you don't go at 18, you can never go. It's always an option.
Always. I mean, I have friends that are literally like professional students and they're, in their 40s and they're still going to college, which there's nothing wrong with it. That's amazing.
I know so many young people who, sorry.
It's okay. I do also feel like people my age that are doing things like this, it kind of shows people that are in college and aren't really sure of what they're doing and kind of feel like they just went with it because that's what they see everyone else do. Like, I feel like seeing other people kind of take the opposite route does change people's minds and make them see that like they can do whatever they want to do.
And a lot of times people out of high school go to college and end up not doing well that first year. And
I actually went to esthetician school with a girl that went to college for 4 years and ended up doing nothing to do with her job and realized that this is what she wanted to do. And I mean, it's totally fine. It's crazy to expect that when you're 18 years old, you just know, like, not everyone knows at 18 years old what you want to do.
What they want to do.
Spend all that money on college, but you just have to learn from it and just follow what you feel, because I feel like not that everyone that goes to college, some people are extremely passionate about what they're doing, but a lot of people do just go because that's what they're
supposed to.
Their parents thought they should go, and that's what their next path was.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Now, Amanda, do you think that I know you said you have such a passion to do makeup? Do you think in the future that you would ever want to do, medical aesthetic work?
I do think about it. Yeah. I think as I get older, I probably will be more passionate about it. I mean, I'm super interested in it. I just have such like a strong passion for makeup that it kind of takes up like my main focus. but I do want to branch out and do that as well as I get older. Yes, for sure.
And I think that that's important too. Like I look at a lot of medical aesthetic practices and, you know, a lot of them, we personally at our medical spot, we carry Glow Minerals. I'm very heavy on like all mineral based makeup. I have been ever since I was in my teens, just from suffering with acne myself. I thought the minerals just work the best with my skin. And I think that there's always a place for, you know, more mineral based makeups inside med spas and educating individuals that come in that need the makeup, because like you said, you know, there can be people that have great skincare and then their makeup, as they tell me, you know, when I have consultations, people are like, I have this and this and this. I'm like, those are great products. And then we get to the makeup part and they're like, I'm using Maybelline, sometimes L'Oreal, yeah. And not that those are bad for some people, they aren't, but I feel like if you're investing in your skincare so heavily, why are we, and when I say investing, I don't mean they have to be uber expensive, because as we know, I love Bare Minerals. My daughter uses Bare Minerals. It's very inexpensive for what it is. Absolutely. So you don't always have to break the bank with mineral makeup.
And skincare either. I mean, there's so many brands around now, like the Inky List, the Ordinary. I know you guys are more into the like pharmaceuticals.
That's okay.
At like a younger age, those brands, they are very nice and they have great ingredients and super, super, super affordable. So
I've had many people come in and have a vitamin C from Ordinary, and I'm like, that's a great first step. You know, it is.
And so really that younger generation, you know, that's what they can maybe afford. So at least if that's what they can afford, they're using something that is, like Amanda said, not terrible for their skin.
Making smart decisions
towards that like path.
So before we say goodbye to Amanda, I just want to ask her one question, because I think this is huge for the younger generation and what their feelings are on it. So Amanda, what is your view on being in the sun, you know, being exposed to the sun? How important is sunblock to somebody your age, considering, you know, looking at your skin is beautiful. Obviously you don't have wrinkles and anything, you know, of that nature yet, but how important is preventative to you?
So this is another thing. I know you guys were saying that younger people, you notice that they really do care more about skincare. I notice it about so many of my friends. Growing up, like in high school, everyone would go in the tanning beds, and that was like the thing. When summer came around, you had to be super tan. And I feel like I notice now, like when I go out with my friends or we're going to the beach, we all have our sunscreen on. We got our Ulta MDs in our bag, like ready to go. And I feel like it's so important. Like you guys were saying, if you don't start skincare at a younger age, I mean, you're going to regret it later on in your life. And even if you don't see like skin damage now, I'm super serious about my skin. So I'm like, I think I have skin damage, but I don't. I know I'm being dramatic, but I just feel like, why not start now? I don't understand why, instead of taking care of your skin later and fixing those issues, why not prevent them?
Yes.
And I mean, I've noticed that not only is just sunscreen to like go, I think some people think that when you're going in the sun, like when you're going to the beach, that's when you should be using sunscreen. Sunscreen is an everyday thing. Even if it's a cloudy day outside, you better put that sunscreen on.
This is true.
I feel like, Amanda, you're very wise beyond your years, because a lot of people, you know, in their early 20s are like, give me the sun, give me all the rays. And they're like, I can't use sunscreen because I'm not going to get tan. And I think that you're really wise for saying that, and prevention is key. So it makes me feel better that you're friends. It makes me feel really good that you're friends when you say you guys go to the beach, that you're all using sunscreen. My daughter, you know, she's 15 and I feel like she's pretty good about it, but then someday she's like, I won't get tan if I wear that. And I always have to correct her. But I think with social media, the way it is now, and how you guys use those platforms is looking up things and seeing new things, I think we're veering into a new era of skincare, where I'm hoping that, you know, younger youth that maybe just born now, or like in 5 or 10 years old, hopefully by the time that they're teens, I'm hoping
it's just the way.
Yeah, the tanning bed isn't an option. You know, that baking yourself in the sun without sunscreen isn't an option, because obviously, as everybody knows, skin cancer is a real thing, and you have to protect yourself. Yes.
Mhm.
So
Actually this is another thing. I feel like people think about skin cancer as something for like the older age. I actually I have moles and I go and get them checked. That's super important as well. Like you need to
mhm.
be on top of your skin. It's super important. Cancer is not a joke. I think people take skin cancer lightly, and I don't think it is. I think sunscreen is the most important step of skincare in general.
And I'm so glad that you made that point, Amanda. Skincare happens to everybody of all ages. I had a friend that sister used to tan in the tanning bed, and I was one of them. I did it as well when I was younger. Her sister got melanoma in her early 20s on her back
It can
it
happen.
happens.
Mhm.
And so people need to be aware that all the time. People are like, that would never happen to me. I've only went to the tanning bed like a dozen times, and I do put sunscreen on when I know I'm gonna be out for like 9 hours, but I don't do it until like hour 5. And
Yeah. And
it's
some
like you gotta do
people
it.
are genetically determined for that to be more of a possibility for them.
Mhm, mhm.
So, some people are luckier when it comes to genetics, but you don't know.
Yeah, so if you are watching or listening and you're my age, I do recommend going to a dermatologist and getting your moles checked out. I mean, what's it gonna hurt? You might as well. I'm not saying that anything bad's gonna happen, but if you did at a younger age go in the sun a lot without sunscreen, you might as well go and get that checked and just make sure that everything's okay. I think it's super important.
It definitely is.
So awesome. Well, I hope that any of our guests listening or watching us that might be in your area where you live, go see you at one of the Sephora's or Ulta's to get your makeup done. I wish I could come see it. I want to drop a big bomb for everybody that is listening and watching us. Amanda is actually Katie's daughter. So I think that she's so like I said, wise beyond her years, but I also have to say, I think her mom had a good part in it too. And I think it's awesome that you knew you really wanted to do aesthetics though. And your mom was just as amazing as she always is, and really showed you probably how much of a passion she had for it. And you're like, I love skin too. I listen to my mom all the time. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And although we went a little bit different, she was very into makeup, and I'm sure that
That's
the
okay.
example of me being, in this, for her being able to see that it's a profession that you can be successful in, that a woman can have this profession, and I'm sure that helped to gear her towards
Sure.
it.
That's so awesome. And Amanda, if you want, now that I told everybody in the whole world that your mom is Katie, you can tell people where you live so they can request you in Sephora or Ulta if you want to.
Yeah, that's great. So my most common areas are the Newtown Ulta,
In
Newtown,
Pennsylvania.
and then I also am in the Warrington one, in that little Main Street shopping center.
And that's Pennsylvania too, correct?
Yeah, because everybody's all over. Ashley's in Michigan.
Oh, okay. And then another one in Pennsylvania would be the Springfield Mall. So yeah,
awesome.
if you're listening.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for joining us. And we so appreciate your time. And I think that you have an amazing career path ahead of you, and you are super intelligent with skin.
Yes, thank you, dear. And I'm so proud of you.
Aww. Have a wonderful day.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, that like made me tear when
I
you're like,
know.
I'm so proud of you. I was like, oh.
I was trying to be kind of on the more quiet side because, as the mom, I want to
I'm
like
like
chime in as
literally
a
like,
mom.
I'm literally like tearing right now.
Oh, she's so sweet. And, really, really, she
very
is wise beyond her years.
Absolutely.
She really is. She'll be telling me, Mom, have you gotten your skin checked?
Sean and Samantha aren't on yet because they're grabbing the tissues because they're crying.
Oh, okay. But yeah, she's a great kid. She really is very intelligent, very what's the word I'm looking for? Savvy with her words. She really knows how to.
She wasn't like a normal 22-year-old, like super hungover from like partying.
She doesn't party at all. She's not a partier, so she's a good kid.
Yeah, I think that it was good to see to have somebody as youthful as her talk about prevention. I think it was great. Mm-hmm. And she has beautiful skin like your mama.
Yeah. Well, not yet. She does have beautiful skin. So I can't believe we're almost at the end of our time here already. This time goes so fast. But do you want to talk about some truths, myths?
Yes. So, truth is prevention is key.
Prevention is key.
And myths are tanning is not going to help acne.
Myth is that you don't need sunblock on a day that you're not going in the sun and laying in the sun. You always want to wear a sunblock.
Need it all the time when
All
you're
the time.
out, even if it's winter.
Yes, even if it's winter, driving in the car, you are getting those UV light rays for sure.
Truth is mineral makeup is better for you than other makeup.
Agreed.
Sure.
And truth is that it does matter what kind of makeup you put on your skin, because if we're taking all this energy to take care of our skin on other levels, well, when we put makeup on our skin, we should also be aware of the ingredients, like Amanda was saying, that is in the actual makeup. There's Doggy again.
I think that with all of this talk with like the truths and this, and we're doing a lot focused on prevention and skincare, I think because we are getting towards the end of summer, which makes me sad, I think next week, because we're doing 2 weeks in a row, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
I think maybe next week we should talk about reversing aging and sun damage and kind of
catching up from the, if you were from the summer months when, melasma could really be at its worst, and maybe some spots came back because you were in the sun, reds. So let's talk about, how we can catch up after summer and get our skin, better and back
to where we want it to be,
where we wanted it. And some things and treatments we can talk about that will really help to do this. We can talk about the Lace Reverse, which is a phenomenal treatment. We'll get into that, and we'll really give some suggestions on a lot of different things you can do for your skin after summer.
I think it'd be amazing. So we are going to be back next Thursday. I know it's literally a week and a day away, but we really want to make sure that all of our followers and listeners are hearing us, since we just took a little hiatus last week. So we will be back next Thursday, and let's do it. Let's talk about damaged skin in the end of the summer and refreshing it and reversing the signs of aging, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you for joining both Katie and I peeling back the truth. We greatly appreciate
Thanks, Amanda.
And thank you very much, Amanda. That was amazing.
Bye.